Healing Our Way Forward. That is the theme of the National Black Theater's 54th season. Now, this new season gets underway with a comic tragedy based on Shakespeare's Hamlet and a production based on the final concert of South African legend and activist Miriam Makeba. Here to tell us more is Executive Artistic Director of the National Black Theater, Jonathan McCrory. It is so nice to see you again.
It's so awesome to be back in the space. Thank you for having us.
You have such great energy. So let's talk about this new season and healing our way forward. Why is that the theme?
I think it becomes really important when we think about the pandemic and the impact of the pandemic on our society, but particularly Black and Brown folks living in Harlem, being a steward of part of the Harlem cultural sector. Sade, the CEO of National Black Theater, and I really witnessed a need for healing, a need for what does it look like to create art and produce art that is geared towards addressing the healing elixir we need as a community. So the theme of healing our way forward is actually a part of a pedagogy of National Black Theater, which is present pulse theater, which is taking the current social topics of our time and asking artists and utilizing art as a response to it, knowing that if art can be utilized correctly, it can help to change the hearts and minds of people. And if we can do anything after the shutdown and still being in the midst of a pandemic and being in the kind of society that we're in right now, we can use a big juice of healing. And if that healing can help us lean forward in our seats, then we also can imagine what the future can be like and be active inside of it.
Yeah. And you know what? Even hearing you say that, from what I know about the National Black Theater, that has always sort of been its raison d'etre since Barbara Ann Teer started the program. So 54 years later, you really are still staying true to her mission of really bringing out the best in her community and showcasing, all of its facets.
I mean, that's the most beautiful comment that we possibly ever can receive is that they feel Dr. Teer still present. They feel her energy, the founding principles that she etched into this organization, rising to the surface even after her physical transition from this planet, right? We don't have a founder that we can point to or come back to in a more physical way of like bringing into meetings or having consultation. It's through her writings. It's through listening to the ways in which that she might speak to us through signs and through meditation and through prayer. But through all those acts, Sade and us and the entire staff of National Black Theater, we are committed to uplifting this legacy of this Black woman from East St. Louis who came to Harlem in the midst of its dirt and imagined its rich royalty and the rich possibilities of how this Mecca, this Black Mecca, could be the transformative force for Black and Brown folks, but also a transformative force for us as humans to find our own transformation.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of your productions this season. There's two in particular. Fat Ham, which is kind of a new take on Hamlet, right?
Yeah, you are 100% correct. It's this beautiful tale penned by James Ives. It's going to be directed by Saheem Ali, who is the artistic associate at and the resident director at the Public Theater. He took this spin on how to make Hamlet fit inside of his cultural ethos. How to take this story of this young man who is queer, ambiguous, who is searching for his sexual identity, who's also searching for his father figure, who's searching for his own liberation, his freedom, and his own unique space in the South. What does it mean for those unique individuals to find their space of home and liberation, and utilizing this kind of epic tale that we know so well and utilizing it to empower a story that we need to know very well.
And probably introducing in an interesting way Shakespeare to some audiences that previously thought maybe there's nothing there for them, right?
I mean, exactly. And I think that's the beauty of this collaboration between National Black Theater and the public. It is the merger of the best of who we are. I was going to say who we be, because it's allowing the public to to really amplify this notion of Shakespeare and this notion of this, if we think of Summer in the Park, we think of Shakespeare in the Park, this kind of commitment that they've had for decades, for years. And it's not for National Black Theater to live inside our long-standing commitment of uplifting Black liberation for human transformation. And this merger is actually allowing for both of us to really center it in a joyful way, allowing for music, allowing for I'm a Dictameter, allowing for magic to show up, and allowing for all of that to create this beautiful gumbo that is, I think, a collaboration that many people might be like, oh, that's an interesting one to have happen, but it's actually a perfect one with this piece.
I think it's perfect. It's one of those things you go, that should have happened before. You have another production, the music is at the center of it. Miriam Makeba is sort of the focus of this one. Talk to me about that.
Oh, Dreaming Zenzile. So that is created by Somi Kukama, the artist, jazz artist, and also Liliana Blaine Cruz is the director of it. That is a project, I just have to say, National Black Theater has been stewarding and been a part of for 3 years. It was a show that was supposed to actually premiere. It's a rolling world premiere. It's a piece that was supposed to start at St. Louis Rep at the start of the pandemic. And the pandemic basically had it do shutdown. And through a kind of committed and actually a powerful collaborative producing structure, we've been able to forge a trajectory for the work that's allowed it to go from St. Louis to the McCarter to Boston. And it's going to land finally at New York Theater Workshop through a co-production with National Black Theater. And the show is looking at uplifting this cultural icon who actually changed the face of the world by introducing it to the vast wisdom, the vast sonic sound, the cultural necessity that lives on the continent of Africa. She is known as the Mother of Africa. And from her courageous activism, her courageous way of just being who she is authentically, there is a cultural revolution that we all get to be benefactors of. Hairstyles become the benefactor of what Miriam Makeba actually was able to do and showcase to the world. Sonics, the sound of how jazz is morphed and changed has radically been influenced by her vision and how she lived inside of it. So it's a piece where someone gets to sit for almost close to 2 hours and be baptized by her story, her legacy, and also her rare and beautiful sound.
Before I let you go, we have to spend at least a few minutes because we're running out of time. You guys are working on really a major transformation right now. You're going to build an unbelievable new space. Talk to me a little bit about that.
I thank you so much for getting the time to talk about it. I mean, National Black Theater is on the precipice of a major capital redevelopment project. The capital redevelopment project will take a property that Dr. Barbara Intier bought 30-odd years ago on the corner of 125th Street and 5th Avenue, our home, the same home where Studio Museum of Harlem started. And we are going to build a 20-story high-rise with a new home for the National Black Theater. That home will be the destination for Black culture to be illuminated, amplified, and be able to have its rightful place inside the cultural pantheon of the American theater field. I think when I think of the project that we're building, it is giving the home, the North Star, for Black artists to have an alley inside of the context of Black theater. I think we just don't have that yet, and I think that National Black Theater is creating, in an active way, a formative home that will use technology, that will use the practical sense of what theater making is, utilizing the cultural practice that people love and know of National Black Theater as far as liberation, and also the innovation of looking at a 50-year program that really looks into the future. But how do you future-proof a Black institution? That's what we're doing, and that's what we're hoping that we'll invite other people to join us on the journey of.
Well, let me tell you, we are obviously going to talk a lot more about this project as it goes on, and we're so excited for you guys. You've earned it, you deserve it, and it truly will make a big difference in that community. NationalBlackTheater.org. We can send folks there to look for tickets to your current productions and to find out all things, all news National Black Theater.
For sure, and also Instagram and Twitter.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us today. It's a pleasure always to talk to you, Jonathan.
Always a pleasure.
Lift our spirits.
I'm grateful to do it.
All right.
Sandra Bookman, and Here and Now. We'll be right back.